Good morning, hun buns. Yep, it's the stranger before you. What's up, hun buns? It's your girl Amanda. Y'all already know. I'm sorry I sound like that. I actually been sounding like that since I got out of the hospital. I think it's an atmosphere change or something. But anyway, I wanted to kind of come in and say what was up with you guys. I have missed you. So yeah. As usual, when I say, I'm going to get on my consistency thing, it go out the window. And most of the time, it don't be my fault at all. So I did put up a community post a little bit ago, but basically what it boils down to is for the last 24 days, my daughter was in the hospital. And, of course, being her mom, I was there as well. So she was in the PICU unit, so pediatric ICU. And for those of you who already know, Demia has she has CP, cerebral palsy, but last year she was diagnosed with Lennonx Gastaut Syndrome. And so once she was diagnosed with that was another major reason. Well, that was actually the major reason why we moved to Florida for her health care. Because where we're from Louisiana, obviously. I think I've told you guys that before after I changed the name of my channel. But anyway, we're from Louisiana. Sorry, I'm trying to untangle these. And we're from central Louisiana, so we're from a smaller town. And they barely could handle her CP seizures. So we knew once she was diagnosed with Lennonx Gastaut last year that we had to find somewhere that could take care of her. So good thing we did, because not even a year later after the move, she went into a full cluster of seizures, which was new to us. And we research about her health all the time, just so we'll know how to help, as parents, and don't feel helpless. And besides, you can't believe everything doctors say, because they will bullshit you when they don't know what to do or what's actually wrong, and they will just pump you with meds and you don't know what the hell is going on. So anyway, I'm actually headed to get my nails done, y'all, so I just figured I would come on and tell y'all what was going on when I wasn't looking so crazy. Because listen, those days in the hospital, I was getting up, getting dressed every morning because I was working from the hospital. However, I just was making sure I was up and looking presentable, because every day I would have a meeting with all of her team of doctors, and I didn't want to be looking crazy. But so anyway, yeah, she started having a cluster of seizures. And when I say a cluster, I literally mean like she was having a seizure every 30 seconds. And they were lasting for a minute. So it was hell on my baby, okay? And so I took her to the emergency room. They initially thought it was because she was coming off of, they thought it was because her neurologist was taking her off of a particular medication. However, after about 2-3 days, I'm like, listen, that doesn't sound right to me. The medicine that she was taking, the dosage of the medication that she was taking was a very moderate dose. So it wasn't even a therapeutic dose, honestly, enough to cause that. And she's come off of the medicine before, sort of, like they dropped it down, and she only got to the point to where she was kind of just a bit weak. So it never caused her to go into that. So anyway, I asked them to run a viral test on her, simply because they only run for COVID and flu. With all of these spin-off viruses that these kids are getting, I was like, no, run a viral. And sure enough, they found out she had a virus called para-influenza. And it's not the flu, it's not like the flu. So, because I asked. But anyway, so that mixed with the coming off of the seizure medication at the same time caused a cluster of seizures, and they would not stop. With all of the, she's on She was on 5 anti-seizure medications. However, if you know anything about Lennonx Gastaut Syndrome, it's a severe form of epilepsy, and it does not respond well to anti-seizure medications at all. It may slow them down, but once it gets into that, once it starts kicking in those clusters, that doesn't help. So they had to put her into a coma, a pentobarbital coma, and shut down her brain waves. So I had to look at that happen, and because they had her on an EEG, so I could see what was going on, and we could see if she had seizures on the camera. And I'm not getting emotional. No, I'm not gonna do it. My baby's too strong for that. So it came to the point of when they put her into the coma, obviously they had to intubate her. So putting her on a ventilator, and that was it. I broke down. I won't lie. We had to leave the room so it could be, you know, a sanitized zone and everything. And I went into the lounge, the visitors lounge, and I broke down to my knees, praying and crying, because imagine your child having to be put into a coma and then put on a ventilator. Like, so anyway, I have very strong faith in God, so we're just gonna throw that out there. But I will not lie and say, at this point, I've never wanted to question God before, but this one right here, I had to. And I still want to know what was the lesson in her having to go through that. But I'm gonna wait on God to give it to me. So, but anyway, that's what happened with that. And so basically, like I said, she's in the hospital for 24 days. That was my home for 24 days. My husband, poor thing, he was taking care of the other kids, coming to the hospital, leaving the hospital, making sure I eat. And we're 30 minutes away from the hospital that she goes to. So he was just doing it. He was doing it. I'm so proud of him. But he keeps saying, stop praising me for something that, you know, that I'm supposed to do. And at the same time, I understand that. But people don't always do what they're supposed to do. So yes, I'm going to praise you and say thank you. But anyway, yeah, so it was a lot going on with her. So on top of, once they shut her brain waves down, now here comes all of the other stuff. So she was literally on 14 different medications. So her room was completely full with IV. I can't even talk, with IV codes. Her room was completely full with IV codes. She had pokes and bruises. She still looks like a pincushion. She had pokes all over her. Her veins were popping. You know, they were infiltrating, so her arms were swollen up on the inside. It was just, she went through so much. They gave her a medication that the side effects of it, well, the allergic reactions, was tongue swelling. So her tongue swelled up to the size of her face, like you couldn't even see her lips, and it was just hanging out like to her chin. The only thing that was keeping her really breathing was the tube, because it was keeping her tongue from swelling all the way up. So once she got to a good point, they wanted to extubate her. They had to wait until the tongue went down. They swore to God that no medicine that they knew of would cause that. However, one of the medications I was concerned about, because I didn't really know a lot about it, so I researched it, and sure enough, boom, there was a huge picture. And then my husband sent me the article. There was a huge picture of a lady. I actually thought it was my daughter, because it had a picture of her mouth with her tongue swollen with the tube in her mouth. And it was exactly like my daughter. And it was from one of the medications they put her on for her blood pressure, because her blood pressure was going up and down, like it was crazy, her heart rate, everything. And I mean, it was just, man, I'm telling you, it just kept going, it kept going. And so anyway, when I voiced my opinion in the meeting about the medicine and me researching it, showing the picture and all that, you know, they were like, okay, well, maybe we'll, so let's just go ahead and take her off of it and see. They took her off of it at 12 a.m. And by 8 a.m. that morning, her tongue swelling was going down. So that is why I say, don't ever let a doctor think that they are smarter than you. They may know medical terms and all that stuff better than you, but nobody ever know your child better than you, okay? So don't let a doctor fool you that and make you think you stupid, and you just gonna stand by and let them say whatever they're gonna say, and you stick with it. If you think something is not right, you say that shit, because they have to do what you say. So anyway, basically it was just a lot of stuff going on, and I was just like, when is my baby gonna catch a break? It was one thing after another after another. So anyway, she finally started to kick ass again and came off of the ventilator. So they extubated her, and then she just started whooping ass. She started coming off the medicines. Blood pressure was regulating, but she kept running a low-grade fever, and by this point she was ready to go to hell home. She was irritable. They took her to do a swallow study because they had to put in an NG tube to feed her and give her liquids and medicines. And she was so pissed off, she didn't even want to do it. So they sent her home on an NG tube. So now I had to learn how to feed her through an NG tube. Liquids, obviously. Give her medications through an NG tube. And give her fluids. So my house literally looks like a hospital. I have the medical poles in there. Like, I had to buy storage stuff for all of the supplies. It's crazy, but I'm just glad she's home. I'm glad we're home. My back is killing me. I've never been in this much pain in my life. So, well, as far as my back, I've never had back pain before, but now listen, so I'm different. But she's home, and it's a different experience, but I'm so happy she's home. She came home. She's not running fevers anymore. She is doing well. Her breathing is good. The mucus is down. So it's just, she just wanted to come home. It's a lot that was happening just simply because she wanted to come home. But anyway, y'all, I won't hold y'all up. I do have some videos that I'm going to do from home. I was in the hospital ordering stuff from Amazon, and it was showing up at the house. I can't even remember by now what the hell I was even ordering. So I want to go through the boxes with you guys, but I will do that video with you. I'm not sure if you guys are crooked or not, but anyway, this is I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on with Mia Bug, because I know some of you who have ridden with me for a while, y'all know Mia. She used to make all kinds of noises in the back of my videos. If I had a video and you didn't hear Demia, she wasn't at the house. So that's another thing that we're fighting with. She hasn't spoken in a month, and she used to talk a lot, you know. So that was scaring me. However, since she's been home, my son, he's great at making her talk. So she has been saying a few words here or there, and she did say, "Hey, mama," and I cried. But she still, I can tell that her throat is still hurting from the vent tube. So I'm just thankful that she hasn't gone backwards and forgotten any of that, because the seizures were really bad. And plus she's still limp as far as like moving her arms and legs and stuff. She just started to move them slightly, but that's another thing that I'm worried about. So we have a nurse. We're setting up to have a nurse come in home to help, because although I can take care of her myself in that manner, I do want to eventually go back into the office for at least a couple of days out of the week, because I feel more productive when I go into the office. So I'd like to have an in-home nurse, you know, just give her meds and stuff and take care of her until I come home or my husband comes home. So we're definitely looking into that. And then I don't want her leaving the house again to go to, because the only time she left the house was to go to the therapy center for all of her therapies for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Well, you think she got para-influenza? Yep. So guess what? She's gonna be home. So I'm also having getting set up with agencies to have the therapists come in as well. So yeah. Oh, I made it 3 minutes early. Go girl. But so yeah, I'm having it set up for, so I'm talking with nursing agencies, which is crazy because I work. with nurses, so that's the crazy thing. But I have a nursing agency coming. Well, I've been talking to the nursing agency, trying to get an in-home nurse, and then also I'm talking to the therapy centers, agencies, to have therapists come. So it's like a lot of people gonna be in my house, and I don't like it, but it has to be done. So all right, you guys, that's it. I made it, and I will talk to y'all later.